for field studies, and we'd love to share with you a little project we've been working on.
We are working on a research project determining the impacts of short-term environmental education sessions on children. The goals of our research were to determine the efficacy of these short sessions in increasing knowledge and connectedness with nature, as well as fostering intrinsic motivation to help the environment.
As the impacts of climate change continue to worsen, it is critical that people are motivated to create positive environmental change, whether that be picking up trash on the side of the road or changing who they vote for, both on a local or national scale. The trick is figuring out what causes people to take environmental action or pro-environmental behaviors. Unfortunately, knowledge of climate change and environmental issues is not enough. One way of doing this is through environmental education. Getting kids outside and interacting with the world around them and learning about it as well increases their connectedness to nature, or their sense of their relationship with nature. Environmental education also increases environmental knowledge, and both of these together increase pro-environmental behaviors. It is critical that environmental education is designed with the goal of increasing nature connectedness and environmental knowledge. These together increase motivation to help the environment.
So as both a scientist and a parent to young children, I think environmental education is really important. It gets children out and be connected with nature, especially children who maybe in their day-to-day lives and their school lives aren't actually getting that interaction with nature. Maybe children that live in cities or their parents really don't have the time and energy to take them out to natural places. I think it's very crucial.
So my name's Mark Allen and I'm the principal of the school here in Malanda, and I really love getting children outside to learn in the environment. Now these days schools are so busy and all the pressure and all the demands and the academic performance, we forget children need to be connected to nature. They learn about all this stuff in classrooms on screens, but it's so much more satisfying to take them outside and let them get their hands dirty, climb around, experience things.
In order to improve the sense of connectedness to nature with children, we designed 2 sessions, both 2 hours long with hands-on activities for the children to learn more about the world around them. Our first session took place in Dungavel Park, which features recently regrown riparian forest containing younger trees and successional shrubs that we highlighted in our activities. Our hands-on activity consisted of leaf and plant ID and insect expos with activities such as a scavenger hunt, a dung beetle trapping demo, and crafts with leaves. Our second session took place at Malanda Falls Conservation Park, which is a state park that contains an old-growth riparian rainforest with a lot of biodiversity of plants and larger trees. This provided a different setting for the children to compare old-growth and new-growth forests. This location consisted of native fauna identification, traditional knowledge, and plants, as identified through Aboriginal history. To teach this, student organizers led nature walks, a hands-on lecture with plants in the area, and a scavenger hunt at the Malanda Falls Visitor Center. For both sessions, kids were split into 2 age groups, with ages ranging from 4 to 8 and 9 to 14. We did this in order to have smaller groups for each activity, and to better tailor to information to their ages. Data was collected via a before and after survey to monitor how children's perceptions of nature had changed after our 2 sessions. Surveys were made via Google Forms where participants' parents were sent email links to fill out the questions for their children. The forms had questions appropriate to age groups to track perspectives across different levels of understanding. There were 3 groups of questions: connectedness to nature, knowledge of nature, and pro-environmental behaviors.
We used both quantitative and qualitative analysis to determine the efficacy of our sessions. We found that for our quantitative results, those being the Likert scale question, that there was a positive trend in students' experiences from before and to after, with a notable increase in knowledge on plants and animals. With the data we collected, we found that participants much preferred learning outside in nature to see the flora and fauna they were learning about, as opposed to staying in a classroom or being inside. We did find, however, that amongst activities that were indoors, we saw a higher preference for guided hands-on activities such as our insect and specimen demonstrations and the semi-indoor-outdoor leaf scavenger hunt. This paired well with the results from our key takeaways, where children reported an increase in knowledge and interest in their local area. Parents commented on these surveys, saying that their children went home and were looking for insects in their backyard straight away, or generally increased motivation to be observant in nature. These results tell us that children enjoy learning about environmental topics most when they can be outside in natural areas with experts willing to point things out and answer questions, as opposed to looking through information on their own.
I think one of the biggest things I've noticed as a parent is to be able to get children interested in nature they do need to spend time in nature, but it's very important to be around someone who's enthusiastic about it and can teach them things and can answer their questions and encourage them to engage with nature. And I think with my own children, that's something I really aim to do. And I think it's really important for all children to have that, so they maintain that curiosity of nature and they maintain that care and that love for nature, that then as they get older is what becomes people who make change.
Overall, we discovered that short-term environmental education sessions can contribute to an increased intrinsic value of nature within children. With outdoor activities being the most preferred, future sessions could be designed to have more outdoor activities to interest the children more. These outdoor activities require very little preparation, as they can be completed with just someone that's knowledgeable about nature walking around with these children in nature answering their questions. In order to further this research, events like this can be added into school curriculums in order to encompass a broader range of children, especially children that are not very invested in nature to begin with. There seems to be a high demand for events like this, and due to the results we obtained, we believe that these short-term environmental education sessions should be implemented more frequently across the globe.